Hello. Hello, everyone. Just waiting for a moment for people to join the call. But I don't want it to wait too long because we've got a lot to talk about today. So, hello and welcome to another online presentation from Biometric Update. We talk about the hottest issues and latest happenings in biometrics and digital identity. I am your host and the managing editor of Biometric Update, Chris Burt. Today, we're going to talk about IDEMIA Public Security's LiveScan software, and in particular, the TPE6 update. Now, IDEMIA Public Security will be very familiar, I'm sure, to most of you who are biometric update readers as the global leader that deals with the US government entities, as well as seamless experiences and the highest level of security for both public and private sector. A lot of that work is done in e-government. I'm sure a lot of you are also familiar with TSA PreCheck. Mobile driver's licenses are a big area of focus for IDEMIA right now, and supplies of suspect enrollment and civil enrollment gear and suspect identification technology, which is used by US law enforcement and which we will be talking about today. Joining us today for that conversation is Yasmin Galmi, Senior Product Manager at IDEMIA Public Security. It's good to see you again, Yasmin.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having us again. We're really thrilled to be back.
Well, it's great to have you back with us. And also joining us today, we have Ratna Din, Solutions Architect with IDEMIA PS. Thank you for joining us today, Ratna.
Hey, happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, as we get into things here, LiveScan, many of you will already be aware, is a package of biometric enrollment software that enables organizations to capture a range of biometric modalities as well as biographic data. Within the LiveScan family, TPE, which is an acronym for Touch Print Enterprise, is a flagship software for law enforcement and civil use cases, which we will be discussing today. Before we get right into that, I'd like to take care of a couple of quick housekeeping items. We will be doing a recording today, so all of you who are on the call, if you have to split early, no worries. You're going to get an email afterwards. You can watch the whole thing on demand, share it with your colleagues, etc. That email will also include some resources. And we'll be having a question and answer period at the end of our presentation today. So please feel free to fire off questions as they occur to you or hold on to them at the end. And yeah, we'll take about 15 minutes to take some questions from all of you attending. So on that note, Yasmin, can you please start us off by telling us something about LiveScan and TPE6?
Absolutely, Chris. When we talked last year, I mentioned that we were working on a project and that we would reveal it in 2025. Now it's the time.
Here we are.
Our teams have been working really, really hard interviewing users. Our teams of engineers have been working relentlessly to bring this to the users. Now we're here to present the LiveScan, as well as law enforcement solutions for, or biometric solutions for both law enforcement and civil use cases. And I think my favorite part of working on this project is how do we resolve our users' pain points with our best-in-class technology. And again, this year we are still leading. We're the global leaders for biometrics. We provide solutions all over the world. We're in every single continent. We work with countries providing solutions nationwide, as well as smaller jurisdictions and villages and rural areas. Again, this year we ranked first in the NIST benchmark for iris, photo, as well as fingerprint. So the challenge was really to work with our users and to understand how we can leverage all of this amazing technology to adapt to their pain points. We do have, for a criminal LiveScan, we have customers around all over North America, in the US, as well as Canada. Our new LiveScan will be deployed in the US as well as in Canada. In the US, it will be TPE6. In Canada, it will be NIBK12. It will be deployed in 2025. And the reason why we have two flavors of the LiveScan is because our business logic is different. The way our users use the LiveScan is a little bit different. It's very similar, but there are some differences.
Yasmin, if I could just jump in there, you're talking about how widely used this LiveScan software
Mhm.
is. So it's my understanding is this is one of the main software systems used for biometric capture by police all across North America, right? So can you maybe give us a bit of an idea in terms of scale, like this one of the largest or the largest deployment, that maybe that you have in the market, and then sort of the other end, a small one. You referred earlier to these smaller size
Absolutely.
deployments.
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Chris. And actually, when we designed the TPE6 LiveScan, we designed it to fit all of our customers, whether they're large, a statewide customer, or even a federal customer that has LiveScans all over the country, or whether it's a smaller local unit that needs a very lightweight deployment of a LiveScan. So TPE6 was really built to be future ready in a sense where if you have a large customer that needs to support a heavy throughput, then they can have an on-prem TPE6 desktop application with remote management. What remote management does is that it helps these central offices not only maintain the health of the live scans, so avoiding expensive trips to the smaller stations to fix these live scans. They're able to push software updates, software or patches from a central location. They're able to do user management remotely as well. So setting up rules, setting up user accounts from a remote management, as well as doing reporting. So this was big with many of our customers where they have the need to plan for staffing as well as training. So with TPE6, we give them the opportunity to do reports. Let's say if they need to know what day of the week gets very busy, so they're able to staff a station more than another one. So they're ready for any traffic that they might have. They can also look at trends from previous weeks, previous months, or even years. There are some holidays where some of our customers say that, they're busier than other times. So they're able to plan accordingly. And by doing auditing, enabling them, giving them a central location to manage their live scan, by doing auditing, they're able to also do training, especially during COVID. Some of our partners say that they have a high turnover. So this helps them really identify where maybe the print fail or the submission fails, and they're able to provide training to their operators. And we assist them with that as well. We provide on-site training as well as on-demand tutorials on our website. Um, so this is really to help with our larger customers. Um, for our smaller customers, we have partners who only need one live scan. In the past, they would have had to rely on card scan, and then they would mail it to a central office and scan the card scans to digitalize the fingerprints. Now they can have a lightweight deployment of TPE6 on a browser, and just to support one live scan or multiple live scans in one location. The benefit of that is that they don't have to have a huge infrastructure to manage those live scans, and they're able to also do management within the browser. So a supervisor can have an admin account, and they're able to manage the users, the different user roles from the live scan. When it comes to also both larger and smaller partners, we have noticed a trend with our customers where they're looking for more mobile bookings, portable bookings. And since our technology is getting smaller, this is something that our team is working on. We are currently working on a mobile live scan to be supported on the smartphone, which is really exciting. When I talk to my colleagues who have been at IDEMIA for 25, 35 years in the industry, they tell me that back in the day, the live scan was a huge suitcase that, that you had to carry with a laptop, and the scanner was 15 pounds or more. So now the scanner is about 1 pound, and you can use it with a phone. And the goal is really to have that in something that you can carry in your backpack. If you are a first responder, or if you're going to a crime site, you're able to take a live scan with you. We do have offline capability on all our live scans too. So even if you don't have internet, you're able to still do a booking and submit those records once you're back in the central office or once you have connectivity. So we're really focusing on that, making sure that our technology is getting smaller. So we're adapting with that to allow our customers to just save space and be able to use the live scan in different use cases. We're also seeing a lot of need for a mobile live scan when it comes to the coroner's office, medical examiners. Currently, they have to drag a cart with a PC on it and a large live scan. So having something that fits in a drawer or that you can take with you on a crime scene to identify the deceased person is really a game changer. And it's something that we want to resolve for our partners.
Excellent. And so you can really see the use cases expanding as we go.
Absolutely. Yeah, the use case is expanding, and we're expanding with the use case and with the technology. So I want to walk you through the different types of configurations that we have to support the new LiveScan software. So as I said, our hardware is getting smaller. So in order to adapt for that, we're redesigning our cabinets. Currently, the cabinets are really large. They take up a lot of space at the booking stations, at the jails. So we're really working to minimize that space. We're also working to make sure that officer safety is always at the core of everything we do. So all the cables are enclosed within the LiveScan. It's a metal cabinet. It cannot be used to harm an officer. A lot of the pain points that the officers have in a jail or even in a booking station is also with the cameras. So on the new cabinets, the cameras are built on a rail. So they're able to be raised or lowered to accommodate the different need of the operator. Sometimes, a subject will have a tattoo on a foot or on the back, and they have a really hard time collecting that data. So having a camera that is modular, that can be raised and lowered, will allow them to do that. We're also working to provide a secondary camera for that specific use case. If you need something detachable, you can take a photo of a tattoo and attach it back. Or even if you need to take a photo on an external camera or phone, you will be able to upload it to TPE6 and use that for the use case of a scar or a tattoo. We also have a desktop version. So currently some of the desktop configurations that we see out there, it's a PC on the desk with a scanner. So we wanted to really make sure that we enclose that and offer a version that is all the cables are enclosed within a cabinet and it takes less space. It can be placed on a desk, on a counter, ideally on a height adjustable desk where you can lower and raise the desk for height. So this is a cleaner, more secure offering for our partners. Some partners, especially in the civil use case, like the portable option. And the scanner that you see here under portable on the screen is my personal favorite. I love this scanner. It's called the MTOP Slim Mobile. I really like it, not only because it's a sleek design, the case is really beautiful and it's ruggedized, but I also like the use case behind it and the reason why it was created. Um, First, it was created, well, the thought came from the French police. They have a lot of rural police stations that still do ink and paper and have very small budgets. They can't afford the really sophisticated live scans. So they needed a way to digitalize fingerprints with a scanner that's portable and that will fit within their budget. And the idea really came to reality with the Olympics in Paris. As you know, Paris is a very walkable city. People walk on foot, they're either on the metro, and they were expecting a lot of road closures. So the French police, alongside with IDEMIA, they talked to IDEMIA and they said, we need something that the officers can carry on them. So they have a pocket with the scanner, where the scanner would fit, and then they would have another pocket with a phone. So they're able to have a scanner and a live scan on them as they are walking on foot, since they can't take the person back to the police station, and they used it for identity verification. So it's really to be able to know who the person is. And then the mobile use cases, so the MTOP Slim Mobile can be used in conjunction with the laptop, the phone, or even a desktop. Another piece of hardware that I really enjoy is related to iris and photo capture. This is a product called the OneLook Gen 2. It will be available for demo in real life at the IDEMIA's users conference in September in Miami, if anyone is interested in seeing it in person. This camera was originally designed for the travel industry, and it's really to facilitate the flow of customers, so they don't have to stop to have their iris and photo taken. So they're walking, and with movement, the camera is able to capture both the photo and iris within less than 2 seconds. When we saw the camera, we said this will be ideal for law enforcement officers that, they sometimes they have a really difficult time with non-compliant subjects to take the photo, especially the iris, because with the iris, you have to stay still for a few seconds to be able to take that photo. So this is a camera that I'm really excited to demonstrate and potentially offer to our law enforcement customers.
Yeah, it looks pretty different than the binocular, as you say, right? Yasmin, the
Yes.
binocular style, you gotta, stay still and hold it right up to the
Mhm.
eyes and everything. A bit of a different process.
Yes, absolutely. And then we'll touch base a little bit more on our photo and mugshot capability as well as iris during the demonstration, which we'll
Excellent.
move into next. So next, we'll go into a demo of TPE6. We have Ratna Din here, who has been working on this with me since the beginning, since the very first user interviews, very first demos of TPE6. So I'll hand it over to you, Ratna, so we can have a nice demo of TPE6.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm really excited to unveil this for you guys. Let me see if I can share. Okay. Okay, cool. So here's the login screen. Like Yasmin said, that we have a few different methods of deployment. Right now, this is using our desktop application. And right now I'm plugged into a kiosk. So it's a standing kiosk made for jails. Um, so we have a few different methods of authentication. That includes username password, which is what I'm going to, which is what I'm using right now for authentication. We also offer different methods that can be combined for multi-factor authentication, such as smart cards or biometric authentication, where you could scan your fingerprint onto either the scanner that's going to be used for the enrollment, or a separate scanner that'll be separate and only used for user authentication.
Yeah, so those are the options for law enforcement. I am really excited about the smart card. It was very challenging to find a solution to meet CJIS requirements with MFA in a restricted areas, such as a LiveScan. The smart card, the IDEMIA smart card, which will be released in this quarter, is actually about this size, and it will be available on it will be wearable on the wrist. So the user is able to enter in their username, their password. And the second method of authentication is literally tapping, uses NFC. So you tap your smart card and you're logged into the system. So it's really removing a lot of the friction that booking officers have with having to log in or enter a password or enter a code. So this will be really awesome, as well as in some areas, booking officers are not allowed to carry anything on them. So they can't have a lanyard around their neck or carry anything that can be used as to harm them. So this is why something that's wearable or something that you are, such as a fingerprint, is ideal for this use case.
And that's going to be a running theme, I think, is as part of this demonstration, is that we heard a lot during our user interviews that safety was always the #1 priority. So we needed to design a live scan that prioritized the safety of our users, especially in a criminal justice environment. Okay, so now that I've authenticated, I've logged in, a majority of the uses you would proceed directly into the enrollment. So it drops you into this record type screen where you could select the what kind of enrollment you would like to do. And this is configurable purely, by user even or by role, where, somebody who might need to perform only civil background checks or something would only be able to view their background checks, versus someone who might log in, who might be doing a sex offender registrant or a criminal temperate booking or a quick ID would be able to view different types of transactions. So this allows a lot of flexibility for one station to be used for multiple different use cases. If you are an administrator, you can click on the inventory screen and see see the more recent transactions that were sent out, and you'll be able to see the status of that. But for a majority of the use cases, like I said, you're usually going right into the enrollment. So here, I'm probably going to go right into the criminal temperance submission as part of this demonstration.
Whenever we do a live demo, I always feel like we should have like a caveat that says like you wouldn't normally be doing this over Zoom, so
Yeah.
that you should expect a little bit of a difference in performance.
Right. Yeah, so there may be a little bit of lag on this one, of course. When you select a record type, it'll load a predefined workflow, and this workflow, I guess, is very configurable per whatever agency's needs. So in this case, we did demographics first that were sorted out into 5 different categories: name and alias, personal info, etc., and then photograph, temprint, palm prints. Now, sometimes we'll have customers who will interface with a separate system that has all that information, and then when selecting that workflow, it may import that information, or it'll prompt for maybe an ID that would import that information from an external system. But yeah, the preview on the left-hand side of the screen also functions as anchor points. If you did need to enter information, for example, if you have maybe their driver's license and you want to put that information first, you might want to select personal info and it'll drop you down to that point. Or if you're going to get the demographics later, maybe you want to take the photo and the temperature first, and you can select those and skip on or off, or skip back and forth, and then later on come back and enter in the demographic information. And that's configurable, where a lot of our customers do ask for us to mandate the demographics first before we move on to the next step. So that's really configurable. As part of our user interviews, we really found out that, one, it was safety, and also it was ease of use that was really, really needed compared to our older versions of LiveScan. So we tried to make it as simple as possible to enter in the information correctly the first time. So in this case, I clicked onto a mandatory field, which is highlighted over here and with an asterisk, and I clicked off of it. So I got an error message here that says, hey, you need to enter in your surname, and then also highlighted the field in red to make it easy to get that information right the first time. And then along with the real-time validations, if I were to enter in an invalid character, it would also tell me, hey, not only is this a mandatory field, but you're entering an invalid character. So it makes it easy to just navigate and get the information right, again, the first time.
And you're able to use your keyboard. You can tab, or TPE6 is able to pre-fill the information, especially under personal info, birthplace, so that the officer is not distracted by typing or using the mouse to ensure their safety at all times.
And yeah, like she said, like I can, like when you're comfortable with the application, it's easy to just navigate through using tab or shift tab to move back and forth, and using hotkeys to open up the pick list, or just typing it in as needed. But then also we made it really easy to also just navigate through a mouse. For example, if you have like a beat officer that only uses the LiveScan maybe once a month because their arrests are kind of low. Items such as like place of birth, where there are literally hundreds of fields, can be searched just by typing in the field, and then it'll automatically live search and give you suggestions based on what you typed in, and then automatically fill in once you've completed that.
What Ratna is showing right now is our out-of-the-box demographics, but these are configurable based on the field required by the customer.
Right. For the sake of simplicity, if there's like an item like citizenship over here where you might not always want to enter it in, but it's an optional and sometimes you want to enter it in, you can add that field in just at the click of a button, or you can delete it almost as easily too, just by hitting this delete sign. But yeah, I mean, dates are easy to enter. If it's like date of arrest, where it's going to be something more recent, then a widget makes it easier to visualize. This is today's date, and then they were arrested yesterday. You can simply just click on it with the mouse and keyboard. Okay, so once I've entered in all of the fields, you notice that rather than being a red exclamation point, it's turned into a checkbox on the left-hand side of the screen. And then now, I know once I enter in the final mandatory field, then the next stage button appears on the bottom right. I click over and get into photograph capture. So Like Yasmin said, we've made a lot of improvements to the photograph capture, but at the base, it's still very, very simplistic and easy to use. On the left-hand side of the field, you have a live capture where you can make sure that your subject is positioned in front of it, preferably with a backdrop. And then you would hit capture, and then I'm going to angle my head just on for a point of demonstration.
Even
So
without a backdrop, it's able to auto crop the photo. So it locates the eyes and it crops the photo so that it captures the best quality photo possible. It
right.
also adjusts for the lighting. As you can see, Ratna, his lighting is he's in the office, so the lighting is a little bit dark. So the camera adjusts for the TPE6 adjusts for the lighting to make sure that the quality is optimal. We leverage IKO standards for the quality metrics to ensure that the quality is optimal for submission. The image is taken within one second. We are streaming over Zoom, so it's lagging a little bit because of that. But the poses are taken within a second, and you can select which frontal pose you would like to complete.
Right. So like she said, we do have a lot of different poses we can do, either frontal face, scars, marks, tattoos, right profiles. And again, it's very configurable as to which mandatory fields you want to capture. So
just as you're going through that, Ratna, and capturing a photo there, you both talked a little bit about some of the user experience improvements made, and I mean, obviously the image quality is important for accuracy, which we're all very concerned about. If we're that's one of the reasons we'd be using biometrics in the first place, and so on. Um, the benefits of faster capture, pretty clear. But you talked a little bit about how the interface has changed, right, and how data entry aspects change. But yeah, can you just fill in the that user experience side a little bit more in terms of what's come out of those consultations that you talked about?
Absolutely. So as you notice, the user experience has been modernized for the looks, but also for usability. So one of the main pain point that our users have is first their safety. So they need to be able to complete all of these steps with very little friction. So they don't want to be using the mouse. They want to be as hands-free as possible when they're either, especially when they're capturing biometrics, so that their safety is ensured at all times. So there are a lot of shortcuts, a lot of improvements in the usability to support that. And the other factor was really training. Um, a lot of our partners see a lot of turnover since the pandemic. So they have to train operators very quickly. So we've added a lot of guides. As you can see, these banners that you see on top, these can be enabled or disabled. So during the capture process, we are able to provide guides for the user to tell them what to do next. Or if their capture fails, it tells them why it fails. So without having to grab someone from the office or stop the booking to ask for help. So they're able to do that within the LiveScan.
Excellent.
Yeah. And we can talk about some of the usability improvements in the template capture as well as we start the process.
Okay.
So here, for example, oh, go ahead, Ratna.
Yeah, so I mean, well, so let me just begin the template portion because this can take a little bit of time. Again, we've we tried to make this as easy as possible, again, so that someone who maybe isn't familiar with the application would know to use it right away. Our scanner has markings on the side and in front of it to kind of indicate where the fingerprint should be going, so that maybe a booking officer will be able to keep their eyes on the hands of the subject that they're fingerprinting, as well as we have a live preview, which you could probably see my fingers moving across the screen. And then little widget over there highlighting the fingers that we're expecting to capture. It says really, really brightly, flat 4, these are the ones you're going to capture, and then have it'll run real-time quality checks, just like with the demographics, to make sure that to give good feedback that if something does fail, this is why it failed, is because maybe it failed a sequence check because you scanned your right middle instead of your right ring finger like we asked. And then you're saying, as I'm scanning, that the quality information on the bottom right of the screen is flashing green because I'm actually having good prints on this one. So on flats and rolls, we have this the crosshairs in the middle of the GUI that allow you to orient your core over the crosshairs, and I think it might be a zoom issue where it's kind of lagging on the capture. But over the live preview, you'll be able to position the finger and then initiate the capture. Right now, I'm using in auto capture mode, where once enough data has been shown on the scanner, it'll automatically try to capture the fingerprint. But we also send most of our palm print scanners with a set of foot switches where you could disable the auto capture feature and then position the fingers how you want it, because again, a lot of these enrollment agents are trained in how to capture the best quality print. And then they can simply step on the foot switch, again, without ever needing to necessarily look at the screen or turn their back on the individual that they're fingerprinting.
And for less experienced operators, as you can see, the guides on the side of the capture screen, those are mirrored to the scanner. I know we can't see the scanner, but they have lines on the scanner to help the operator place the fingers or the hand or the palm so that they ensure correct positioning on the platen and a better image quality. And once they do that, once the image is captured, they will get quality information that is calculated by using IDEMIA's quality algorithms. They are best in class, and also the NFIQ2. So that's the combination that we use for the fingerprint quality. Every time you scan, you will have a score as well as a color indicating if it's green, it means it's optimal quality. If it's orange, it means it's in process of being captured. If it's red, it means you need to recapture. If you can set a threshold for quality as well. Some customers have a lower threshold. Some have a higher threshold, so that's configurable as well, based on the use case, based on the need, based on where you're submitting your information to. So as you can see, when Ratna is taking the fingerprints, there is these banners on top that tell him what to do next. And that is really just to guide him. Ratna is very experienced, so he could turn those off if needed, if they're distracting for him. But if it's a new person or somebody that needs a refresh, then they could use those. We also have embedded in product documentation. That question mark on the upper right corner, that leads you to the documentation for each section. So if the banner is not enough, then you can go ahead and go through the documentation step by step We do offer also tutorials, pre-recorded tutorials that are available for fingerprint scanning and capturing biometrics in general.
That all goes to that user experience piece that you
Absolutely.
were talking about before. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So the core of building this product was really first officer safety. So allowing them to never to keep the eye on the subject at all times, especially in a law enforcement scenario, but also allowing them to have a very easy onboarding experience and training.
Yeah. So we've moved past the 10 print capture. I was able to capture all 10 roles. I didn't need to apply any annotations, but we did have that option. Here I'm capturing the palm prints. Again, the standard, one of the standards is to capture the palm in 3 different sets, and that's the upper palm, the lower palm, and the writer's palm. In this case, I was looking for the interdigital, and then we'll also run sequence checks to make sure the upper palm and the lower palm all match, so you're not swapping prints, or you don't have the wrong hand, or if you get interrupted, you're not grabbing the wrong person. It does segment the prints out so that you can actually see individual quality checks. I'm going to skip that for the sake of this demonstration, because for the sake of time.
Yes.
So the final portion, of course, is the submission. If you're transmitting to an AFIS, this would be where you would select where you're transmitting, or if you're printing out, say, multiple cards for a background check, you can select that and select how many copies you want and then hit submit. In this case, I haven't fulfilled all the mandatory requirements, so I'm just going to exit here by hitting applicant actions, and we'll show you at least the inventory page and what it looks like when you do have a completed case here. So once that's submitted, here's a few other cases that I've done over the course of the last day. Some of them are complete, some of them are incomplete. Here's the one that we just saw me start. And then if you recall, I skipped past the palm prints and I skipped past the photograph. It says it marks that as incomplete, so you can come back and complete it as needed if your user has the privileges for it. You can also see the transmit print jobs. If I had printed cards, it would tell you if the cards were printed. If I transmit it to an AFIS for a search and a result came back, that would also appear under responses here. And then you could also see the description when you submitted it. If you did get a response, then an icon will appear on the left-hand side of the screen where you can actually see the full response. So if it comes back with a rap sheet, so you can see outstanding warrants or something, then you'll be able to view that pretty easily. So in this case, here's another completed record that I did earlier today. Everything's complete, and then I'm not connected to an AFIS, so I can't really demonstrate that portion.
Well, with you, with the AFIS wouldn't turn up anything because you have your record's nice and clean anyways, right? Right, Ron?
Right.
So if there's a need to update a record or complete a record, we do have an optional feature to verify the identity of the subject, especially for fingerprints, all the biometrics. So before you edit the biometrics, you have an optional feature to scan the fingerprints, any fingerprint that has previously been collected, to make sure that the person that you are updating the biometric data is the same as the original person, to avoid errors or tampering or any issues like that.
Excellent. Well, I see we've got a few questions in here, and I would like to encourage everyone to keep firing those away. We'll get to those in just a second. Ratna, did you want to touch on anything else here before we make that switch?
No, I think we should be okay. Well, actually, yeah, I think we'll be.
Okay.
I think we can move on to the Q&A now.
Well, how about, so I would like to, I'm going to exercise privilege here and start with my own question, which is, I mean, we've been talking about this mostly in terms of law enforcement. That is, the number one use case, right? Suspect booking, getting right into, you can see how the matching process starts to come in there. But also there's a variety of civil registration use cases as well, which we've kind of touched on or, kind of referred to in passing.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, can you give us maybe an idea of the different sectors, facilities, situations where organizations might deploy LiveScan as they collect their user biometrics?
Yeah, absolutely. So we deploy live scans to a variety of use cases, criminal as well as civil. We deploy to state as well as federal agencies. Some of the civil use cases that we support could be related to employment, so background
Mhm.
checks, processing employee information. Um, Schools as well. They screen their employees, people who work with our children, to make sure that they're fit to be around children. So they use our system to do that, to complete the biometric capture, to do the background checks. We would also have verification use cases, so identity verification to make sure that the person is who they say they are. So those are the various use cases that I can think of. Ratna, anything that you can think of on your end?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've touched on it pretty well. We do sell a lot, definitely a lot of small applicant live scans. I think on one of your slides earlier, you showed maybe a transportable thing or a transportable model of live scan with just a very small 10 print scanner. We sell many of those, especially again, schools, churches, anything that's going to be around children or it might involve access to money.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, access to children, access to money. I actually had to do a background check not so long ago to volunteer at my one of my children's schools. So yeah, a lot of different use cases. And we do have the lines are blowing up, as they say,
Mhm.
in a slightly different context. So let's turn to some of our audience questions. We have one that's referring right back to near the beginning of the presentation when we were looking at the mobile scanning option, which shows the live scan system running on a phone, right? So
Yes.
what's running on the phone? TPE6?
So the live scan will be running an application. So it
Yeah.
will be supported on an application. The user experience will be the same as TPE6. So it will be what we just showed you, but it adapted for a smartphone. However, the mobile acquisition layer, so what's in the background, will be a little bit different of what TPE6 uses.
So mostly similar, but not actually literally TPE6 running on a phone.
Um, the end user experience will be very similar. It will be a seamless transition from a desktop to the smartphone. However, the backend technology will be different to support the mobile app.
Yeah, an important point to make. So that's yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that answer, and thank you for the question. That was a good question. Another one here. Since TPE6 uses the web browser, I would think that it needs to connect to a web server. If for some reason the web server or network connection to the web server fails, would that paralyze all the live scans? I mean, we've already had the vagaries, let's say, or the different challenges that can come in when you involve another software provider, right? So,
Excellent question, and that's something that came up very early in the process is if there is no network, how do we resolve this? So our engineers and user experience designers came up with a clever solution of an offline inventory. So if the connection is lost, you can still do your biometric capture, complete your booking. Those records are saved in an offline inventory. Once the connection is reestablished, then the IT department can select whether they want those automatically submitted or if they want a manual step where an operator has to validate the records and submit them manually. They can submit them one by one or batch select all of the records that were captured offline.
Your work is not lost. You're safe. You're
It's
safe.
not. We do not want, yeah, we don't want your work to be lost. And another core principle that we have is we want the biometric capture to be successful the first time. We don't want you to have to recapture.
Great. Well, on that, picking up on that theme, we have a question about whether the iris and mugshot camera is height adjustable, but also part two, could the mugshot iris camera be used as a network camera?
Let's see. I believe they are referring to the dual mugshot and
Yeah,
iris
I think so.
camera.
That's how I take
Yes.
the
So
question.
that one can be mounted in different ways. It could be mounted on a wall, so that you can put it at a height that is convenient to you. It can be placed on a desk, or it could be mounted um, on the cabinet. That isn't its current version. We will
With the
collect.
adjustable arm.
Yes.
So then, height is not going to be an issue then,
Uh,
ultimately.
it's, Currently, it's not height adjustable, but height should
Oh,
not be an issue.
right. Okay. Okay, very good. And how about thumb slaps, simultaneous thumb slaps on the TPE using TPE6? Does it support that
Uh,
simultaneous thumb capture?
I believe that is available, but per configuration. Ratna, do you want to add anything to that one?
No, I guess our out-of-the-box custo does a 4411
Mhm.
style of capture, but yeah, it would be configurable to do a 442 style of capture
Yeah.
for these.
That is more common in a civil use case. For the criminal, we do 4411. We were actually just working on a civil use case last month that required dual thumb. So it is enabled, it's available, but it will be available per configuration.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have one here about how it's delivered. Will all new orders, so the police department that's about to call up IDEMIA PS and get
Mhm.
LiveScan into their facility.
So we are rolling out TPE6 this year. So I recommend that you reach out to your program manager so that we can discuss the details of the deployment. But yes, if you are on our latest TPE5, you will be able to get an upgrade to TPE6.
But not all new orders.
Right. Okay. Not
Or
necessarily.
Yeah,
You
yes.
but
need to
we're
have
slowly
coverage.
rolling it out. We have a few of our we're finishing up our pilot program on this pretty shortly.
Mhm.
Yeah, an important distinction. Thanks for that, Rana. So speaking of the TPE5, we have a question about how exemptions are done. Is that similar to with the TPE5 system?
Yes, actually, if anything, so when you're at the template summary screen before you begin the capture, you would be able to simply right-click on the field that you're looking to add an exemption to, and then select that exemption. Or otherwise, if during the capture you choose to select that exemption, then there was a button on the top center of the screen that you would select, and then it would also give you like a little hand guide where you could click on where on the hand you would like to apply the exemption. Then you can actually apply it not necessarily on the finger that you're at, but also at any point in the booking process you can apply those exemptions.
Excellent. Now we have a question here that has a couple of acronyms in it. So Ratna, I'm going to need your help here. Our RMS systems has to interface has interfaced to IDEMIA with new technology. We need an SFTP location. Is this possible?
Yeah, there's a few ways that we can integrate that. If the RMS system doesn't already have an SFTP location, then we could maybe have or like that available maybe on like a central location or maybe even on the live scan, although we discourage that. Um, that yeah, we could set that up.
So again, talk to your program manager,
Right.
right?
Yeah, if your IT allows for that, then yeah, we can absolutely set up a SFTP server for you.
Um, that is great. Thank you. I just want to actually call out at this point, the questions are continuing to roll in. There's absolutely no way we're going to get to all of them, but I
Yeah.
want to, so I want to make two quick points. One, thank you to all of you asking those questions, and these are really good questions too. I honestly, I usually have to filter out more because there are bad ones. Not this time, so good job, everyone. Also, don't tell the other people, attendees of the other webinars, I said that about their bad questions. Anyways, uh, but point two, all of these questions will be received by the IDEMIA team. So, you can reach out after the fact. We'll touch on that after. And IDEMIA, PS, Yasmin, Rodna will be able to get back to you as well. But yeah, I just want to run through a couple more of these as we come down to the bottom or the top of the hour here. And this one actually, I think, also was one I was going to ask if we had more time or similar. We are wanting to set this up for our hospital organization. How quickly does this happen? So my version was going to be, I'm convinced I need this for my organization. I call or email IDEMIA PS. What happens?
If this is a new deployment, we would have to set up a live scan for the customer, gather their requirements, and our team can get started on that. And then we also would need to select the hardware. So I do recommend that you reach out to your program manager. The technology is available. We're ready to deploy. So it will depend on the customization or the configuration as well as the hardware selected. Um, Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's good. Um, okay, we have a question here on a totally different note, going back to the suspect enrollment scenario. Does DOJ allow you to remote to live scan systems?
So with TPE6, the remote capability is not enabled. The technology exists, but this is not something that we enable on the live scans. So we do have the ability to send in notifications, bulletins, but we don't currently have the capability enabled to remote into the live scan. Ratna, do you have anything to add to that one?
No, yeah, that really depends on your setup. That's
Mhm.
difficult to answer on this webinar.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Well, we are at the top of the hour actually, and so we've got a number of other questions there. I see Ratna's typing an answer to one as well at the moment, so
Mhm.
that's perfect. We've been able to get to a good number, and I'm really again want to thank everyone who submitted those questions. It's been a really interesting conversation. I also want to encourage all of you who didn't get your question answered, or if you did and you want to find out more information, you got a follow up. Go to na.idemia.com. You can get in touch with Yasmin, with Ratna, with a program manager. You can start working towards rolling out or upgrading your LiveScan system. I especially want to thank Yasmin and Ratna. This has been super interesting. Thank you for the demo. Thanks for engaging with all these conversations, with all these questions and conversations. And we look forward to doing this again for the next generation as well.
Thank you, Chris, for having us on the webinar. And thank you for all the attendees.
Yeah, it's been great. So for all of you out there, thank you again. We'll be back soon to talk more about biometrics and digital identity. In the meanwhile, visit biometricupdate.com, visit na.idemia.com, and we will see you next time.